Hello everyone, with the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the prayer that you remain healthy and safe. I am Dr. Afifa Bano going to start the class of phonetics. Today we will learn about the total number of sounds in English, and we will also see how many sounds are there in English language, how many consonants, vowels, and we will see all the things in detail. So let's begin. First of all, let's see what we are going to see in this video. Number of sounds in English language, phonetic symbols or phonemic symbols of consonants and vowels, place of articulation of consonants, and manner of articulation of consonants. All right. So let's start with the total number of sounds in English language. So how many total number of sounds are there in English language? Yes, there are 44 number of sounds. Okay, means we have 26 letters, but 44 sounds in English language. All the words of English are made out of these 44 sounds. Okay, now in this 44 sounds, we have 24 consonants and 20 vowels. Now, these vowels are not pure vowel. All of them are not pure vowel. Only 12 are pure vowel, which we also call monophthongs, and the rest 8 are diphthongs. Now, what are these things? What are pure vowel diphthongs? That we will see in detail further. So these are the list. This is the table of the sounds of English in total. These are the vowels. We will see in detail about all these vowel sounds, how do we pronounce them, and everything. We will see the place of articulation of these vowels and consonants and the manner of articulation. We will see everything about these consonant sounds as well. And listen, understand one thing, that these are not the English alphabets. They are not letters. They are the symbol of the sounds. We call them phonemic symbols or phonetic symbols, right? So like this which you think is P, it is not P. It is actually the symbol of the sound pa, as in P, as in apple, as in plate. Okay, so this is the symbol of the sound pa, ba. The same way here you can see this is a symbol of cha, as in cheese, chair. Okay, ka. This seems to be written K, but it is not K. We will never call it K. We will pronounce it ka. Ka, as the word cat, cow, car. All right. So these are the symbols, and now we will go through the details of these symbols and these sounds. So what are these consonants and vowels? And then we will see, for both of them, we will see the place and manner of articulation. How do we articulate these sounds? How do we pronounce them? So let's start the class with the place of articulation of consonant sounds. All right. Here, see what happens, how does it work? When the air has passed through the larynx, it comes up and out either through the mouth or the nose. Okay, as we discussed in the last class, that these are the part of the organs of speech. So the air that we while speaking, the air that we require, it either passes through mouth or the nose. So our sounds come either from the mouth or from the nose, right? Most consonant sounds are produced by using the tongue and the upper part of the mouth to constrict in some way the shape of the oral cavity through which the air is passing. The terms used to describe many sounds are those that denote the place of articulation of the sound. That is, the location inside the mouth at which the constriction takes place. From there we will learn about the place of articulation. Means that which part of the mouth, which part is responsible to produce a particular sound. What we need is a slice of head. This head, as we discussed in the last video also, the slice of head we need. If you crack a head right down the middle, you will be able to see those parts of the oral cavity that are crucially involved in speech production. In figure in the next slide, in addition to lips and teeth, a number of other physical features are identified that we will discuss. To describe the place of articulation of most consonant sounds, we can start at the front of the mouth and work back. Okay, we will start from the front of the mouth and we will see how which sounds are coming out from the middle and the back of the mouth. Okay, We can also keep the voiced and voiceless distinction in mind and begin using the symbols of IPA for specific sounds. These symbols are enclosed within the square bracket. Remember that. And one more thing we discussed in the last video, voiced and voiceless sound. I hope you remember the sound in which we feel vibration either here or here are called voiced sounds, and without vibration is called voiceless sound. Now let's see. And yeah, the phonemic symbols are often written with the square bracket, within the square bracket. Now, this is the picture we discussed before also. These are the parts of a speech that we have. Okay, nasal cavity, palate, velum, uvula, pharynx, larynx, vocal cords, alveolar ridge, tongue, all these teeth, lips, all these are responsible for making speech sounds. Now, let's begin with the place of articulation of consonant sounds. So first of all, we will see bilabial. What is this bilabial? See, bi means both and labia means lips. So when both the lips come together, then we make a sound like pa. Pa is a voiceless sound. You can feel and you can decide by yourself whether it is voiceless or voiced. You say pa, pa. There is no vibration. Pa, pa, or the letter pa. But when you say ba, 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 you will feel more vibration. Ba, ma, va. But one more thing, place of articulation is lips, both the lips. When both the lips touch together, then what happens? We almost stop the airflow and then abruptly it opens and then the sound comes, right? Pa. You can see the diagram as well here. See, what happens? We close both the lips together, and then we make a sound pa, ba, ma, right? Pa, ba, ma, wa, wa. For wa also, wa. Almost the lips get closer, right? So this is called bilabial. Next is labiodental. In labiodental, what do we do? The upper teeth with the lower lip. Upper teeth and the lower lip together makes a sound. For example, fa, the voiceless sounds as fa as in safe, okay? And then va, va as in save, van, fa, fan, okay? This is called labiodental, upper teeth and lower lip. You can see the picture over here, upper teeth and lower lip and how the air is passing. Okay, next is dental. Dental sound means the tongue tip behind the upper teeth, this tongue tip behind the upper teeth or between the teeth, when we keep the tongue tip and like this, and then we make sound. These are tha, tha, right? As in thin, bath, okay? And the voiced sound, the voiceless is tha, and the voiced is the, as in then, bed, the, and tha. Okay, learn the difference and understand. We do not say tha, we say tha, tha. This upper teeth should touch the edge of the the tip of the tongue should touch the edge of the upper teeth. Okay, tha. It should be tha, like this. Tha, the. Okay, see, this is the way the tongue goes little up and it touches the edge of the teeth. Next is alveolars. Now, what are alveolars? The front part of the tongue on the alveolar ridge, what is alveolar ridge? The rough area behind the upper teeth is called alveolar ridge. So when the front part of the tongue touches the alveolar ridge, then we make the alveolar sounds. For example, the voiceless sound ta. You pronounce it and then you will feel how your tongue is touching the upper part of your mouth. Ta, sa. Top, sit. Voice like da, na, za, la, ra. All these are alveolar sounds because they are touching the upper alveolar ridge of your mouth. Okay, da sound as in dog, head. Okay, na sound as in nut, za as in zoo. Okay, la as in lap, ra as in rap. So all these are called alveolar sounds. See, you can see the picture over here. The tongue is touching the alveolar ridge. La, ra. Now palatal. Palatal sounds, the tongue and the hard palate means the roof of the mouth, the hard palate, is called palatal. For example, the sounds like sha, sha, cha, shop, chop. What happens that the tongue, that the tongue, the side of the tongue, moves little up and it touches the hard palate of your mouth. Okay, sha, ta. Then we make this sound. Voice sound like ja, ja, ya. Okay, ja as in casual, usual, pleasure. Okay, ja as in gem, ja. So learn the difference. There is a difference between ja and ja. Ja as in gem, ja as in jam. Okay, but ja as in casual, pleasure. Yeah, this one is not J. Remember, this is the symbol of ya. Ya as in yet, yellow. Now see the picture. Voiceless sound sha and cha. To pronounce the voiceless sound sha and cha, what do? We say like sha. Our tongue goes up, but it the space remains there, and the sound comes. The air comes very easily. That's why it is voiceless, and there is no vibration. Sha, cha. Okay, but at the same time, when you pronounce voice sound, the tongue goes little more closer to the hard palate, and it makes a sound like ja, ja, yeah. And what happens that the air, becomes little, what I say, it becomes narrow. It gives the narrow space for the air to pass, and that's why this is voiced sound, and that's why it creates a vibration. Okay. Next is velars. The back of the tongue on the velum, the soft palate of this, just the upper area of this area of the upper place of this area is called soft palate. So when your back of the tongue touches the soft palate, then we make the sounds like k as in cat, cake. Okay, voiceless sound, and voice sound as in g, anga as in gun, bang. Okay, voice sound g and anga. So these are the sounds that are velars. Okay, here you can see the diagram. The back of the tongue touches the soft palate of your mouth and produce those sounds. Now, next is glottal. Using the glottis, the open space between the vocal folds. Okay, glottis, the open space between this vocal folds. When we use this area, then we make the voiceless sound ha. It is voiceless, and ha as in who, ha as in hat. All right. Now see the picture. The air without any problem, the air passes without any constriction. Now this is what we saw so far: bilabial, labiodental, dental, alveolar, postalveolar, palatal, palatal, velar, and glottal. So these are the place of articulation of consonant sounds. Now, see, this is the diagram of the place of articulations we make from different part of our speech organs. Okay. Now, we saw a detailed analysis of the place of articulation for consonants. From this, we can see that ta and sa are similar in the way of place of articulation, and they are both voiceless alveolar, but they are clearly different. They are not the same sounds, right? The difference is in how they are pronounced or their manner of articulation, right? So since they are same, but still they are different. So we will see how they are different. They are different in the production, the manner of articulation of these sounds. Okay. Now, what are the manner of articulation? First of all, we will see stops. What is stops? We also call it plosive. Plosive or stops means block the air briefly, then let it go abruptly. As I said, in bilabial, what happens? We just block the air and then we let it go abruptly. Okay. So this is called stops or plosive. So the word pet begins and ends with voiceless stops and bed with voiced stops. Okay, pa and da. Voiceless stop, they are called voiceless stops or plosives, and ba and da are the voiced stops. All right, see the voiced stops are ba, da, ga, and the voiceless stops are pa, ta, ka. Okay. So now see this diagram. How we just close the mouth, the air fills in our mouth, and then it goes abruptly. It goes out and make the sound. Next is fricative. Block the airflow and force it through a narrow gap, creating a type of friction. For example, the word fish, fish begins and ends with voiceless fricative, and the word those begins and ends with voiced fricative. Now we will see the voiced version of fricatives are wa, da, za, and ja. All right. And here, just a minute. Yeah. And the voiceless forms are fa, ta, sa, sha, ha. These are the voiceless fricatives. Remember that. Now see the diagram. This is the way we pronounce the fricatives. Affricates. How do we, what does this affricate mean? Combine a brief stopping of the airflow with a release through a narrow gap. Okay. For example, the word cheap begins with the voiceless affricate cha, and the word jeep begins with the voiced affricate ja. All right. So the voiced affricate is ja, and the voiceless affricate is cha. Okay, we combine a brief stopping of the airflow, ja, ja, with a release through a narrow gap. As I explained before also, there is a narrow gap for the release of the air. You can see in the diagram, and thus we call it affricate. Next is nasal. When the velum is lowered, allowing air to flow out through the nose, we can produce the nasal sound. For example, the words morning, knitting, and name begin and end with nasals, all voiced. Okay. The only voiced nasals are ma, na, and ga, nga, nga. Okay, remember that there are no voiceless nasal sounds. Now, let's do a practical thing. Let's close your nose and try to pronounce these sounds, ma, na, and nga. Try ba, da, ga. You won't be able to pronounce it actually. Without nose, you cannot pronounce these sounds. In fact, when you try to pronounce the words like morning, 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 knitting, knitting, day, day, you won't be able to sing, ping. No, it's difficult. You can try by yourself, and you can see if you close the nose and if you try to produce a sound, it's really difficult to produce it. Because what happens that when we make the sound, bilabial sound like ma, ma, then what happens that all the air goes to the nose, and then the air flows through the nose, and then this nasal cavity actually produces the sounds like mana and nga. Okay. Next, liquids. The production of the two voice sounds la and ra as liquids. Okay, the ra sound in English and and right is formed. The ra sound in red and right is formed with the tongue tip raised and curled back near the alveolar ridge. Ra, right? Red. Right. So the tongue tip is little bit, fold, it raised up and little bit fold towards the alveolar ridge. Then it is curled back, and then we pronounce the sound ra. Okay. Now the same happens with the sound la. La. The la sound, as in lead and light, is formed by letting the air flow around the sides of the tongue as the tip touches near the alveolar ridge. Now you see this diagram. For ra sound, we just raise our tongue up and we just fold it a little bit, we curl it, and then we produce the sound ra. But for lateral sound la sound is also called lateral sound. We just touch the tip of the tongue to the alveolar ridge, and then we release la. La, the air passes through the sides of the tongue. Okay. Next is glides. The voice sounds wa and ya are described as glides because they are produced with the tongue in motion or gliding. Wa. Yeah, what happens? The tongue remains in motion to or from the position of a vowel. Okay, that's why we call them semi-vowel. The words we, wet, yes, and you begin with glides, also called semi-vowels. Okay, these sounds wa and ya are also called semi-vowel because when we pronounce these sounds, our mouth, moves and the tongue remains in flowing. Sometimes, forward, sometimes back. Wa, wet, yes, you, right? You can feel your tongue. Now see, this is the way how it works. So what are the manners of articulation? Stop, fricative, affricate, nasal, liquid, and lines. Now look at this. Classification of consonant phonemes or consonant sounds. Here it is written place of articulation, and this side on the left side it is manner of articulation. Now these are the sounds of English language. If I ask you to classify any sound of English language, how will you do that? What will be the classification of a sound? For example, if I ask you to classify the sound na, what is na? So na is, first of all, we will write whether it is voiced or voiceless. Na is voiced. Then we will write place of articulation. It is alveolar. And what is the manner of articulation? The manner of articulation is nasal. Yes. Okay. So we can say that na is a voiced alveolar nasal sound. Okay. If I ask you to tell me the classification of ba, what we will say? Ba is voiced, bilabial, and stop. Okay. You can go through this slide. In this, you can see I have written all the classification of almost all the sounds, all the consonant sounds. The classification is written here. Ta is voiced, dental, fricative. Ta is voiceless, alveolar, fricative, right? Sa is voiceless, alveolar, fricative. Okay, so you can just check all these things and you can make your assignments, you can use it. So this is it for today. Inshallah, in the next video, we will discuss about the vowel, the place and manner of articulation of vowel sounds. Till then, take care of yourself. Remember me in your prayer. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Take care.